My name is Daniel Kibblesmith, and I am the writer of New Warriors #1. I got interested in the New Warriors later. I remember seeing them on the shelf when I was a kid, picking up comics in the 90s, and just feeling like they were too cool for me. Like I was intimidated by, Night Thrasher who had a blade coming out of his wrist. Nova was really buff. They were all the edgy characters for the 90s, as the cover said.
Voy a la playa, había subido la marea. Eso. Había subido la marea y encontré una paella.
Snowflake and Safe Space are the twins. Snowflake is non-binary and goes by they, them.
Y cuando entro en el restaurante me ve el cocinero con una paellera y a ver solamente paellera.
Well, hello kitties, it's your favorite neighborhood watchman with you again in another video which will be about Warner Brothers giving the axe to the completed yet unwatchable Batgirl movie. Now, you may be misled to believe that maybe they straighten out their moral compass. No.
No.
It all, of course, has to do with money. Take a loss now, so as a bad product such as this film won't pollute the franchise. So you cut it off, and in the future, if you do it right and make billions, if you create popular movies. So here, this article in the New York Post by Johnny Oleksensky with the heading, "Despite 70 million price tag, holy millions down the drain, Batman."
Holy rainbow.
The DC Comics film Batgirl will be completely shelved by Warner Brothers, a top Hollywood source told the Post. That means it won't hit theaters or the streaming service, HBO. Fans will not see it. Oh man, this thing has gotten around like wildfire. It's one of those things where it's so bad, people want to see it for themselves. Like a train wreck you can't stop looking at. The reportedly 70 million movie, the source said the budget was actually more than 100 million, I believe it, especially in this day and age, which was doing test screenings for audiences in anticipation of a late 2022 debut, will rank among the most expensive cinematic cast-offs ever. Man, that must have been a truly woke garbage fest of epic proportions. Those tests were said to be so poorly received by moviegoers that the studio decided to cut its losses and run for the sake of the brand's future. It's a DC disaster, and that's saying something. They think an unspeakable Batgirl is going to be irredeemable, the source said. The Post has reached out to Warner Brothers for comment. It's been a months-long walk of shame for the movie Batgirl, directed by Adil El-Adi and Bilal Fallah. I hope I pronounced their names correctly. Those two received not a single mention at DC's Comic-Con panel in San Diego last month in July. An unusual move that raised industry eyebrows. The much publicized event, after all, is designed to boost exposure for forthcoming projects, just like this crappy one here. Marvel's Comic-Con presentation, on the flip side, announced more than a dozen films. More doesn't make it better though. In the so-called Phase 5 and 6 of the MCU, to be released to fall 2025, with even more surely in the hopper. With more to come. I like that better. Batgirl, which stars Leslie Grace, who in the title role, alongside J.K. Simmons, Michael Keaton, and Brandon Fraser, or them two I know, was originally planned for an HBO release. The Puck newsletter reported in April that WB's then chair, Toby Emmerich, was considering a theatrical run for the film too, but Emmerich stepped down in June to form his own production company, not long after Warner Brothers merged with Discovery, and David Zaslav became the CEO of the new entity. He replaced Emmerich with MGM's Michael DeLuca, who likely had to deliver the Bat News, and Pam Abdi. Ta-da! What a nice crappy suit that is. While the film's co-directors have done some scattered interviews about casting, the studio has been mum on plans for Batgirl ever since. Shelving a multi-million-dollar effort would not be unusual for Zaslav, a ruthless cost cutter. Remember, he's the same guy who gave the 300 million streaming service CNN Plus the axe just days after its splashy launch because it didn't snare enough subscribers. Who the hell thought that was a good idea?
Let me see your hand.
They don't have enough viewers on their regular channel as it is. The height of hubris.
I almost had to wait.
The budget-conscious CEO, according to Variety, has split WB into multiple segments, including a reorganized DC-based film production group. Ta-da! Took them long enough. With that in mind, WB is said to be searching for a head honcho to run the flailing DC extended universe and whip it into coherent shape and whip it good. Correct and whip! Like Kevin Feige did with the far more successful Marvel Cinematic Universe. Ooh, burn. Which is owned by Walt Disney. The current president of DC film production is Walter Hamada. Warner Brothers. Discovery will report its Q2 earnings and announce future plans on Thursday. That's second quarter earnings.
We are so smart!
DC urgently needs all the help it can get. Brother, you ain't just whistling Dixie. Unlike the behemoth that is Marvel Studios, whose movies occasionally get bad reviews, but reliably print money, about as much as our government does. But I digress. DC is a disorganized, confusing, not very profitable mess. Aquaman and Wonder Woman in 1984 got mixed notices from critics. Birds of Prey and The Suicide Squad were admired flops. The Batman performed okay at the box office for Warner Brothers, netting $770 million with an R rating, and got good notices. However, the only DC Extended Universe film that has managed to beat the $1 billion box office gross of The Dark Knight, which came out 14 long years ago, Joker with Joaquin Phoenix was not part of the DCEU, was Aquaman. Meanwhile, Marvel's pandemic-era Spider-Man, No Way Home, has grossed $1.9 billion worldwide, and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness has managed a solid $955 million. Lately, DC's nasty star drama has eclipsed the buzz, such as it is, surrounding its movies. Look at this freak. Ezra Miller sure has tanked his career down the toilet, possibly along with his drugs. Ezra Miller, who plays The Flash, has caused a string of embarrassing controversies this year. In the spring, the actor was twice arrested in Hawaii. First for disorderly conduct and harassment, then for second-degree assault. Then in June, the Standing Rock Sioux Tribal Court issued an order of protection against the 29-year-old for allegedly using violence, intimidation, threat of violence, fear, paranoia, delusions, and drugs to groom an 18-year-old, whom the actor has known since she was 12. Miller has not publicly commented on the latest allegation. A police investigation into the Hawaii incident is reportedly ongoing. Ben Affleck, meanwhile, consistently claims he's done with playing the Caped Crusader, even going so far as to allow Robert Pattinson to take over the role in this year's The Batman, but keeps coming back like a bad ex-boyfriend. It was reported this week by Screen Rant that the actor will appear yet again as Bruce Wayne in Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Perplexing. Affleck must be bipolar or something. And Gal Gadot is said to be starring in Wonder Woman 3, but the actress and director Patty Jenkins have said nothing, including a title or release date. Beyond that, they're throwing around script ideas. DC, which squanders legendary properties with abandon, appears to have no grand plan whatsoever. Soon, however, Wonder Woman won't be the one holding the golden lasso anymore. Instead, power will be wielded by an all-controlling DC film production head who will attempt to turn things around. Before they arrive, killing Batgirl is step one. This is the end of DC as a hobby, the source said. Who is this source? Is it Kevin Feige? Stirring the pot? Unfounded rumors? Meh, who knows? Who cares? Well, folks, I know you're upset.
Let your torches and go!
But maybe this film will be leaked one day, and you can watch it and listen to it till your eyes and ears bleed. So jumping over to another article from Screen Dollars, we have more information about that initial screen testing of not only Batgirl, but the Scooby-Doo film in front of a movie audience. It says here, moreover, initial test screenings for both Scoob and Batgirl were received poorly, making it unlikely that they would be well received by moviegoers if they were to be released theatrically. Zaslav appears to have concluded that spending tens of millions of dollars to market a theatrical release of these films would amount to doing good money after bad. Instead, he opted to scrap both releases and write off the money spent on both titles. Some in the media criticized the move, saying that the studio was throwing away an opportunity to introduce the first Latina superhero, In the Heights actress Leslie Grace starring as Batgirl.
TikTok keeps hiding my videos about this, but...
Because diversity and virtue signaling trumps everything in the woke world. However, studio sources report that Batgirl's test screenings were that bad. I believe it. And Zaslav opted to protect the DC brand from the impact of a badly reviewed, woke movie with little box office success. It also appears that this decision is an example of Zaslav's quality over quantity approach to the business. Well, we should hope so, for their sake, not ours, or they won't get our money. Not that I have any, but this isn't about me. Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you? Not in the theaters, buddy, and not on HBO Max either. So with that happy statement, I will close out this video. Stop clapping. Well, folks, if you like this video, please like and subscribe. Don't forget to hit that notification bell. And if you don't like the video, please comment and get someone in your family to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that if not you, then they can be notified whenever I drop another video. Thank you. And as always, stay safe and I bid you peace.
What in the world is this? Revolving walls? Hidden rooms? Disguises? What is Barbara Gordon's secret?